Welcome to the Run Shoot Diaries podcast. This is where we talk about managing your time in ways that helps you accomplish your running goals. Lace up to get your race up. Let's get moving. Hey, what's up everybody out there running on native land, and welcome to the Run Shoot Diaries podcast. I am your host, Luis, aka Chico, and this is episode number 2. Thank you for spending some of your precious time to listen to the show. I appreciate it, and so I'm definitely not going to waste it. Let's get moving. This episode guest is a Ruck N Run warrior, and he stays at the top of the Battle Miles leaderboards. He's a machine, and so without further ado, Mr. Johnny Run Good himself, John Medvec. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, bud. I'm glad to be a part of your show and give you some support and help grow what you're doing with your podcast and your Run Shoot Diaries.
I definitely appreciate it. Well, you're on the show that doesn't like to waste time. So let's start off by, John, give us a introduction to yourself.
Well, I'm John Medvec. Other people know me as The Machine. I don't know where that came from, but I just like to push my limits and I never quit. So I just keep going. 35. No, I'm not 35. 33. I don't know. I'm around that age. I've got 3 kids. I worry about their birthday and married, and I have to remember all those dates because those are super important in my birthday. So
I totally agree with that. How many kids you have, John?
We have 3 children. Our oldest is 12. Our son, he's the middle one. He's going to be turning 7 here at the end of the month. And then we have a 2-year-old named Adeline. She runs the house. So
definitely. And how long you been married?
We got married in 2013. So 8 years. And then we've been dating or been together 10 years. But my wife and I have known each other since we were children. Her mom actually babysit myself and my siblings. So we've known each other since 1993.
What? So that is a true love story right there.
Yeah, we didn't get along as kids. We're military brats. My mom was stationed in New Orleans, and word of mouth back then led her to having my wife's mom babysit us.
Okay.
And so when we were kids, we kind of just hung out. And then it was interesting because we moved from, my parents got a new assignment in Jacksonville, Florida. So we moved from there to Jacksonville. And my mom was stationed on the John F. Kennedy aircraft carrier. And coincidentally, her dad was assigned to the JFK. So, and then after that, we kind of parted our ways for a few years. And back at the time we reconnected was Myspace was really big. So we got in contact with each other on Myspace and just kind of kept in touch since. And coincidentally, my parents retired in Missouri, and we live currently in the Ozarks, or actually the city of Ozark. And this is where my mom grew up when she was a kid and graduated high school and stuff. So that's how we ended up here. But my wife's family is from Iowa, so we weren't too far away from each other. So being in the military family, you can end up anywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
So for some reason, we just stayed in the vicinity. So
yeah. So you said MySpace. Was your wife part of your top 8?
Yeah, including Tom or whatever. Back then MySpace was a little bit different. It wasn't like it is now. I think it's more around for like musicians and stuff. So
yeah.
And then eventually I went to the dark side and got on Facebook and ended up.
There you go.
So
all right. So you said you're a military brat. What state do you call home?
I'd have to say Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the closest I've had to where I had a home.
Yeah.
Because every few years, my parents we would move. I was born in San Diego, and we moved from there to Tennessee, just out of Knoxville, and then down to New Orleans, and over to Jacksonville, Florida, then over to a dusty little town out in Colorado called Bennett. And you would not too many people know where that is, but it's about 30 miles east from Aurora, Colorado. So yeah, and then we ended up back here. So
okay. You have any brothers or sisters?
yes, I have 4 sisters and 1 brother.
Okay. Where do you fit in the age scheme there?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You always been into athletics?
No, actually, that's the interesting part about me. I've never been athletic. So when I was 5 or 6, that's probably like the last time I was the fittest I've ever been. I actually enjoyed running then, and then after that, you just kind of like I don't know, got more into video gaming and stuff, and so. When I turned 29, I just got really, really bored with my lifestyle. It was really stagnant. I sat on the couch, watched a lot of TV, and I was just thumbing through Facebook, and I was seeing all my friends doing some stuff, and just got really sick of that lifestyle. And so I said, you know what, I want to be more outdoors. I love being outside. I grew up on a farm, and
I
wasn't into any sports until my beginning of my 30s, and that was just running.
Okay.
And then, running led into, you know what, I don't want a runner's body, so I got into lifting, and then I just didn't want to do what I felt was boring, and it may not be to a lot of people, but 5Ks just seemed like that's the normal thing. So I started with a couple 5Ks to kind of get the feel of what that was about, like being in a race and competing, and then just got hooked on competitive racing.
So what do you do for a living, and what is your work schedule?
Since 2007 to now, I've worked for the same establishment, and that establishment is a school bus dealership.
Okay.
And it's based out of Nixon, Missouri, which is the home of Jason Bourne. If you're into that.
Yeah.
I started there as a painter's assistant / body technician / just help out anywhere in the service department. And after a few years of doing that and getting my associate's degree in auto body repair, I ended up doing some contracted work where I installed cameras on school buses, and I went all over the place. I'd seen a lot of the New England area. So, and then I got to missing home, and because I'd be gone for a month straight and then come back. And at the time, my oldest was just starting to talk and walk and all that stuff. So it's just not what I wanted to be. I wanted to be home with my family. So, especially seeing my daughter grow up. And then, so I came back home, worked for a trucking company.
Okay.
I worked out in their service department for a few months, and then found out the establishment I work for now was hiring in the parts department. And so I got back in there, and I've been there pretty much ever since. I left the company back in September to pursue a career in law enforcement.
Okay.
And did that up till February. And the company I work for now, it's called Midwest Transit. We got to talking, and I got to talking to my wife, and we worked up an offer that would bring me back.
Right.
And so I was a little hesitant because I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted a career in law enforcement. It seemed to be where I wanted to be in life. And so after talking to my wife a little bit and talking about our kids and stuff, our schedule and our family dynamics was getting a little bit crazy. So being a correctional officer, the schedule that I was on was too much for my children, and they were missing me, and so that sold me right there. So long story short, no matter what I'm doing with my career, I always try to put my family first, even if I have to.
I love it.
I want.
I love that. So all of that being said, can you give us some parenting tactics that you use to help manage your time and your training?
So the best way I can do is just kind of just share my Monday through Friday schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
How it works for me. So I used to get up at like 3 a.m. and there's another athlete that I've ran into through Battle Miles. Her name's Rose Day, and she just could not believe that somebody would get up that early. But it was the only time I could work in working my lifting program.
Yeah.
So I get up before everybody else does. I knock out an hour of weightlifting, and then I go upstairs and start working on my meal for the day. So I get breakfast and lunch all packed up and stuff, and then I'll go and wake the kids up, and they got their own things they got to do to get ready for school and or their day. And then we've got a couple dogs, so they're out doing their thing in the backyard. And then I get my wife up. I always brew coffee for us in the morning. So, but I start my day off with weightlifting, because if I have my kids in the room while I'm lifting weights, it becomes a safety factor.
Yes.
I also lose my concentration when people are talking. So when you're trying to bench press something heavy or try to deadlift and somebody's trying to talk to you, you accidentally come off maybe a little too rude, but you're not trying to, because you're trying to lift 400 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have that. And then during lunch, at work, I'll go for, that's when I do my running. So I do it when I'm not taking away from my family time. And then that leaves me open in the evening for whatever my kids or whatever's going on in the house, whether it's chores or right now our son's in T-ball or youth baseball. So I have to be free for that to help out with that load. So.
And I love your schedule. I mean, because that is the way I like to run mine as well. And yes, I get up at 3 a.m. Sometimes I get up at like midnight to go run. I mean, and the reason I do that is because in the summer here where I live down in Texas, it is so hot and humid during the day that I'm going to suffer, and I'm not going to get as good of a run in as I would in the middle of the night. So usually I'll get on our Facebook group for the community, and I'll just let them know, like, hey, just be on the lookout for me. I'll be out there. I'll be in runner's attire everybody knows. But yes, I am on the same page as you as waking up early and getting that morning workout in. But you said dogs. You have some dogs. Mm-hmm. What kind of dogs you have, and do they go running with you?
We have a border collie, and he's not trained on a leash very well. He's more like the family pup. And so I've tried taking him on running. He was originally supposed to be my running buddy.
Okay.
But when we first got him, it was a disaster for both of us. We kept running over each other.
Yeah.
So we never synced. So we just, I'll take him on Rucks. He's more of a walking dog. Now, Midna, that was Bandit. That's the border collie. Midna is my dog. She's my German Shepherd, and yeah, she's more. She's actually been easier to train and more easier to run with on a leash.
Okay.
And today we actually we did a run together, and right now I'm in a 30-day personal challenge for Ruck N Run, and
Okay.
so each day for the month of June, I'm going to run the 5.56K Ruck N Run.
Okay.
And so every so often I'll stop and bust out 25 of an exercise. And today was her first Ruck N Run 5.56. And so I'm over here doing 25 burpees while she sat and stayed with me not holding the leash on the side of the highway. And she did amazing. So she's actually a lot easier to work with when it comes to running.
That's awesome. All right. So there's two things that in your screen right now. So you're wearing the Ruck N Run shirt, and I see a Battle Miles flag in the background. So we're going to start with Ruck N Run. Can you let us know what Ruck N Run is?
So back when I started getting into running, that was the first year Ruck N Run came into existence.
Okay.
It was created by a Army drill sergeant named George Fuller. And so basically it started with him being tired of the over commercialization of U.S. service member holidays like Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day. So it is now turning into a Veterans Day celebration. And so it started with just being a 5K, which was at 5.56, and it's boot camp style. So when I found out about it, it was year 2. And so I had slated a bunch of different like obstacle style races. I wanted to train for a Spartan race, and so Ruck N Run was on my bucket list because it was local. And so I went out and competed in the running division and took the first place medal.
Oh, nice.
So, but the thing after the race, my wife and I were sitting in the car and we were talking, and I said to her, I'm like, there's just something about this event that just brings it home to me. And so we were just talking on the way home and stuff about all the different little signature experiences that we came across at the event.
Yeah.
And the main thing was being able to interact with others or with current service members, veterans, and hearing all the stories and stuff. And that was stuff we grew up on. So, and my mom had passed away right before that event in August. And so I had a huge void in my heart. And Ruck N Run has been a huge filler for that hole. So it was a way I could honor my mom and her military career. And so after year 3, George introduced the 7.62. And so it extended the route out a little bit further, and it added a couple more stations. And so, and then I was so excited. I'm like, man, this is really cool. So I went out and I ran. As soon as he announced it, I went out and gave it a test drive.
Yeah.
And I posted a video right after doing it, gave my opinion about it. And he gave me a call, and here I am, the vice president for Ruck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I love that, man.
Yeah. So Ruck N Run is huge, and it has potential to grow. And it's not just about, challenges and the race or the event, but it's about honoring those who serve. And that's why I kicked off this 30-day challenge, because, you know, a lot of the people that I'm dedicating each run for, they had a story. They had they are a cog in the engine of our service or our military. So they, you know, they may have not, you know, done some huge act of heroism, but they have a story. They had sacrifices along the way.
Oh, definitely.
And so, you know, me growing up and meeting a bunch of different people and the things, hearing about what they do, whether they were signing checks or balancing checkbooks, like or ledgers, like my mom did. She was a glorified CPA accountant in the military or in the Navy. So she did a lot of budgeting and stuff like that, but never really, she didn't do combat. So there's more to our military than just soldiers and jet fighter pilots and all the cool stuff, you know? So, and that's what I wanted to share in this, along with telling them thank you for what they've done. So you and I could have the freedom to have this podcast together.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the military is really a world within the world.
Yes.
So with all of your challenges and how you're paying homage to all these people, are you making any social media posts about them?
Yes, I mean, okay. So Ruck N Run has a group. It's Ruck N Run HBC. HBC stands for Honor, Build, Connect. Okay. So it's part of our 3 pillars: honoring those that serve, building camaraderie, and connecting the community. So I've been sharing my progress on there. And in my Strava account, I made sure to the days that or the training sessions that I have it open to the public. So it's not just private or anything. So anybody can come across it and see what I'm doing. So
can you let us know your Facebook and your Instagram handles? That way we can follow you on those.
Yeah. So my Facebook should be John Medvec. Okay. And you'll see me walking my dog with a rucksack, and it should have the Warrior Ruck N Run badge, or whatever you call the filter thing or the border thing under. Okay. Yeah. And then Strava, you should be able to find me the same way. I think I'm wearing one of the Ruck N Run gaiters with a hoodie and my bulletproof diesel hat on. So
okay. What about Instagram?
Instagram should be John the Machine Medvec.
The Machine, there he is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get those out, and that way, I mean, we can follow you on this journey and everything, and hopefully we'll start getting involved. Well, let's move into the way that you and I started connecting through Battle Miles. So tell us a little bit about Battle Miles there, and let's talk about some competitions.
Yeah, I definitely won't forget running into you in Battle Miles, because actually you were a lot of my motivation in this.
I appreciate that.
So Ruck N Run, not only do I still do my Ruck N Run monthly mission challenges, but I'm also trying to keep up with whatever Battle Miles is throwing at us. But I found out about Battle Miles 2 years ago, I think. Okay. Back in 2019, right before definitely right before COVID. Yeah. And but it coincidentally, my dad, he actually lives out in the area where Battle Miles was born.
Oh, okay.
North Carolina. Yeah. So the creator, Josh Hamilton, he actually he I don't know how much I can say about his lifestyle, but he lives out that way, out in North Carolina. Yeah. So to respect his privacy on that. But it's funny because I came across it. We were George and I were like trying to drum up some ideas on how to make our finisher dog tags better. And if you don't mind, let me show you. Hold on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when Ruck N Run just came out, it was in some younger stages, and but one thing George and I strive with it is we never do exceptional. So the first couple years, we definitely had some room to improve, but these were the first. So this was the first year I went.
Okay.
So we had this was the placement medal, and then this was the finisher dog tag. Okay. And then after a couple years went by, we were just kind of like, man, we can improve on it. So I saw an Instagram post for Battle Miles and their dog tags.
Yeah.
And George is like, see if you can't reach out to him. I'm like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And so I went out to North Carolina to visit my family out there. And then on the way back, George reminded me of Battle Miles. I'm like, yeah, I'll look into it. So my wife was driving through Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I got on Instagram. I got to look, and I saw where Battle Miles was. Like, holy crap! So I reached out to him and said, hey man, I love what you're doing. You've got a lot of potential, man, to grow. And so we've had a lot of conversations. Spent a lot of time talking and brainstorming on challenges and stuff. And so we went from Josh was so helpful. We went from this kind of dog tag to a thicker, more bolder. So I'm thankful for him to do that, because that's helped a lot with people wanting to do more with Ruck N Run. But it started with seeing that on an Instagram post, and then then it went from there. So I had to definitely try out some of his challenges with the 2-miler, the 5 and 10, and the Death Miler. That was all there was at that time.
Oh, I remember the Death Miler.
Yeah. Well, I should say Death Miler because it was Death Race at the time.
Yeah.
Death Miler.
So what's crazy about that is I end up doing that twice. The first time, I got maybe to close to the finish, and I don't want to give away the details of it, but I was within a 20-mile range. Like, I was almost complete, and somebody called me, and it stopped my watch. My watch was connected to it at the time, and I was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And so I because of my integrity and everything, I literally just like, I don't know how it's going to show up on my Strava or anything like that. So I literally just cut it short there, and I had to go back to the drawing board, recover, and then try again. So yeah, I actually did it twice for that the one finish.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I know, like, I've heard that horror story a couple times, but I did mine, I think in March, and I bought it and I just set it aside. I was waiting for the right time and with my family schedule. And I think before that, the X Miler was released, and that was one of my favorite things that had came about. But I did the X Miler, and I had the record for the longest time, 33 miles.
Yeah.
And then some punk guy came out of nowhere and he doubled it, but we found proof that he cheated.
Yeah.
But it was still funny because you still thought he was legit, and you went out there and beat it by 1 mile. Yeah. And Josh and I we lost it over that, because we knew this guy would just stew in it. So
I remember that, and man, it was tough. And so, like, the exercises were getting to my legs, the weight. And I remember just like thinking, I was like, all right, this is I think it was 50. He did 50 miles. I'm going to do 50 and then go an extra mile and then take my finisher photo. And I remember my finisher photo. I made it look like the old school Ludacris album and everything.
Yeah, we just loved it, man. That was a great way to send it back to him. So
yeah. So Battle Miles, what is your favorite Battle Miles race?
Downfall, 100%.
What is Downfall?
Downfall is the 4 miler, 100 burpees every mile. So I'm probably the weirdest person you'll ever meet, but I enjoy doing burpees. That same year, I think 2019, I think it was, let's see, Adeline. No, I think it was 2020. No, it was 2019. I had personally signed up to do burpees every day. It was a minimum of 30. And so a whole year I had been doing burpees, and I've done it in the rain. I've done it in the snow. I've done it sick. It didn't matter. I stuck to it. I committed to doing it. And I remember one time we had a tornado. And the sirens were going off. I'm like, honey, this is an opportunity. So you saw me out in the front yard, and I'm out there doing burpees, and there's sirens going off. And then, tragically enough, a tornado had just passed our house by a mile and destroyed the subdivision. So, I guess I was lucky, but not for those people. Yeah. But luckily, it wasn't, the neighborhood's kind of rebuilt back up, and everybody seems to be doing all right over there. So
that's good. So what is the toughest Battle Miles run that you have ran so far? And do you recommend it to anybody?
The toughest? I have to look, because I mean, Def Miles was pretty tough. Or Def Miler was pretty tough, but it was tough because for me, the route I took incorporated every flipping Ozark mountain hill there is in the area. So that was kind of rough for me. I know that at one point my legs were locking up. Yeah. And so I had a really bad Charlie Lloyd horses in my calves. So I say that put a lot of wear on my body, but I still did it. Yeah. But probably the one I didn't like at all. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can't see it. One of the medals. I said the tribute half. Okay. Yeah, the tribute half was hard. And the reason for it was I decided, like, I didn't have my shoes were kind of crappy at the time. Yeah. So I decided to take my Ruck boots. So I ran them in boots, like jungle boots. And I had some bad shin splints at the end of that. So my weighted vest at the time was I'm now using a 511 vest, but the one I had is a Condor, so it was like constantly moving and on my back and stuff. So I'd say that would be the one I don't like at all, is the half tribute. Okay. So, all right. So you said in that one you ran in boots, but what is your favorite shoe, or do you have a shoe that you run in? I'd say my favorite shoe is the Reebok Z-Print. I think that's what they're called. Okay. So I don't like the thick sole shoes. It feels like I'm wearing boots. Yeah. So I like wearing really thin, light shoes, and the ones that I've came across over the years that work for me. Yeah. Is the Reebok Z-Print ones. Okay. So so Battle Miles and Ruck N Run, both of those are their platforms. They allow you to work the competition into your schedules and everything fine. Oh yeah, that's why. So when we had the stay-at-home orders and COVID and all that stuff and all the in-person events kind of started like dissipating and going away, and now they're opening up and stuff, and you can have a little more faith in that. I personally just like doing the virtual challenges more because I'm out there, I don't have to worry about anybody getting in my way, like at some of the Spartan races that I've gone to, or I don't know. I just feel it's more me, and it's more about the challenge, and I have more fun. Because if I'm out there like racing with other people, I feel like there's a mental part of it where you kind of end up losing focus on what you're doing. So you're more concentrated on somebody next to you, and that person could be screwing with you. Because I've done it. I've actually I've messed with some teenagers once that do CrossFit, or not CrossFit, cross country. And so I'd get them running as hard as they could at the beginning, burn them out, and then I just blast past them after that. So you know, but I like being able to do it when I can, and not sacrifice family time, because a lot of the races I want to do, you have to drive out of the way. So
yeah, definitely. You earlier you talked about working out and everything, and you do not want a runner's body, but what exercises do you benefit from that help you in your running?
So I have the worst, like, I'm not the most flexible person.
Same here.
I have horrible hip mobility, but I'd say squats and calf raises and working my legs help me out a lot. As far as like being able to do burpees and push-ups and stuff, I do a full body workout. So like I have Monday would be like chest day, Tuesday back, Wednesday shoulder, then leg days Thursday, and then Friday is just arms. So
do you have any nutrition products that you use?
For supplements, so let me back up. So like the program I follow, or books, my wife gifted me a book years ago. It's written by an author, and he's also the CEO, and or I think he's the CEO or owner. He's the head dude over Legion Athletics. But his name's Mike Matthews, and he wrote a book called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. And so I pretty much follow that with my weightlifting program. And so it's a progressive weight lifting program. I guess that's what you can call it. So you progressively add weight when you hit so many reps so many times in your set. So you're basically continually to progress with it. And so I do that 5 times a week, 30 minutes to an hour, first thing in the morning. And then before I even consider running, I'll it's got to be at least 6 hours after that, so I can build up energy and get some food and stuff inside me, and make sure I'm not depleting anything. And so with the diet I follow, it's pretty much flex eating. So with how much I run and how much cardio, I tend to lift more. I spend more time during a week lifting than I do with cardio. So I'll build more muscle than I do or lose muscle with running. So if you have too much cardio, you tend to lose. So but as far as my diet goes, I try to eat as clean as possible. I'll eat complex carbs. I try to keep my protein around 1.5 grams per body weight. And then carbs is like 2 grams. So I try to stay somewhere there. But right now I just kind of eat whatever I want because I'm just running every freaking day. So
I understand. What is how long is a rest and recovery period for you?
What's that? When the kids are bothering me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, rest and recovery. I try to have at least one day, but I'm so used to it. My job is at a desk, so
Yeah.
that's pretty much I sit a lot, and
Okay.
that's why I work out in the morning, run during lunch, and then just do whatever in the evening. So,
Okay. Do you have anything to add before we move into the next section?
no, not that I can think of.
All right. So we're moving into the 5 to stay alive. So these are going to be 5 questions that every guest that comes on the show will be asked. So number 1, do you run with or without music? And if so, what is one song on your running playlist that motivates you?
Man, I can't even imagine running without music. I can't stand hearing myself breathe.
Uh-huh.
So I have to have music, and it's always cranked up. And so I use right now I'm using JLab's Sport wraparound earbuds. Those have been the most successful. And funny thing is, I had a pair of Raycons.
Yeah.
And the first time I ran Siege, and I remember what time you were. I think you were like 45 minutes, 44 minutes on that. I was trying to beat that.
Is Siege the one with the mask?
Yes, the mask. Okay, so I was running that, and the route I ran, one of my earbuds, my $80 Raycon fell out, and I lost some time trying to look for it.
Oh,
so,
man.
So I use that's why I use the wraparound ones, because I sweat profusely when I run. But as far as song, right now I'm kind of hung up on Lamb of God's Memento Mori. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
So that's been motivating me. So, and one of the lyrics in it is they repeat the words "wake up." So it just drives it. And then I'd say another one's probably by the band Machine called Game Over. So we gotta have some Machine music.
All right. Hey, so we have the podcast is on Spotify. So I started a playlist. So every one of my guests that come on, they give me one song, and it goes on this playlist. So I'm going to add one of those songs to it, and that is going to be your song.
I definitely recommend the Lamb of God one.
All right, definitely. We'll get that on there for you. All right, let's move into question number 2. What competition or race is on your bucket list?
I don't have one right now, actually. I thought about this the other day.
Yeah.
I'm just not really I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing with Battle Miles and Ruck N Run. I was talking to when I was generating my list for my 30-day challenge of the names and service members and veterans that I'm dedicating each run for.
Yeah.
I was talking to an individual. His name's Les, and he's actually been training for a good while now for an Ironman.
Okay.
And the race has been jacking him around, and we were just talking. I was like, man, after running the Battle Miles Championship, that was a grueling month for me. If you want to know what race was the hardest, it was that month in general.
Okay.
Because I was on nights, I think I was at the gel.
Yeah.
So I was sleep deprived, and I pushed my limits, man. And what motivated me to do that was looking and seeing all the names that were on the list of who was competing.
Yeah.
I was one of the OGs. I was like, man, and talking to Josh and some other people, I'm like, I gotta win this.
Yeah.
I gotta win this. I gotta, so, and I just went out and that just fired me up, man. I didn't want to put us to shame.
Oh yeah, so, definitely.
One of us guys had to win it. So that, going back to that, after that, I just kind of lost some motivation in it. And I'm just more about just doing the races and running.
Yeah.
Right now. So I'm kind of taking a hiatus as far as competing.
I understand.
And I went out and did the Battle Miles memorial race, and I was kind of surprised how well I did. I did better than I would. And I wasn't really, I don't want to sound like cocky when I say this, but I wasn't really out there trying to win it. I just went out there and did it. And the route I did it on was pretty flat. So,
okay.
But it just, I'm just more focused about me and completing the challenges, and eventually I might find something on the way and do that. So
yeah, well, definitely keep doing what you're doing, because it's definitely working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 3. What is one thing that an athlete should avoid in their journey to becoming a better runner?
Anybody to bring them down, negativity. You know, there's going to be a lot of people out there are going to be talking crap and saying things. And, you know, let me back up. I weighed 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. When I started running, and I was when I started running, I had a pair of starter Walmart shoes. Okay.
Yeah.
Long bottom, and man, did I have shin splints.
Oh.
But I was heavier set, and I didn't have much muscle to me, and you know, just basically from couch to 5K. So
yeah,
you know, don't worry about what people think about you when you're out there running. Don't let anybody bring you down. You know, find it in you on what motivates you and why you're doing this, and don't lose that motivation. Just keep remembering, you know, this is going to take a long time. It took me, you know, 6 years to get to where I'm at. And, you know, a lot of different things along the way. And a lot of, like you said in your first podcast for this, you know, I found the little hidden successes.
Yeah.
And I kept using those, and it's worked for me. And I just keep pushing. So
I 100% agree with that. Finish this statement. When it comes to long distance running, John cannot leave the house without
my phone, my phone and my watch. And yeah, so I have to bring my phone with me because my wife would have a panic attack if she couldn't find me. So she knows how I am. And going back to me running the death race, I had to make sure she could find me on GPS, because I got up at 3 a.m. and I didn't get back home till like 7 hours later. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Number 5, do you have a running mantra?
I'd say my running mantra that I've used was kind of drilled into me. It's the warrior ethos.
Okay.
And that is, I will always place submission first. I'll never accept defeat. I'll never quit, and I'll never leave a Conrad. So, and that's for all my Spartan friends. But that has helped push me in some of the times where I've gotten to like, I want to give up. And so remembering that, and then knowing why I'm doing it, it just snaps me out of it and keeps me pushing.
Yeah, the warrior ethos, that is from when I was in the Army as well. The warrior ethos is something that, I mean, every soldier, it was drilled into them. I mean, it was kind of like a go-to for everybody. So yeah, I definitely agree with those being at your side and in your head at all times, because that would definitely help you once you keep those comments, those statements in the forefront of your mind. It's going to get you through it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So before we let you go, do you have any advice or guidance on what it takes to accomplish your own respective running goal?
Simple. Just don't quit. You know, I'm just a simple person, just an everyday average Joe. And I found my motivation along the way. It started with my kids. It started with me getting off the couch, and it just led me down a journey and an adventure. And right now, my biggest motivation is not quitting. And if I quit, I just get stressed about all the time and hard work that I put into this and losing all that. So
Yeah.
just stay focused, keep pushing, and find your reasons and your motivation, and don't give up.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, John, there's a couple of things that I want to go back and touch on real quick. So we
Okay.
talked about Battle Miles. That was Josh Hamilton, and Ruck N Run with George Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to reach out to them too and see if we can get them on the show. So we might end up calling you back on again.
Okay.
And also the book that you mentioned earlier, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, that was by Mike Matthews.
Yes.
I definitely appreciate all that. Hey, John, you're very family oriented and you're successful in running. Like, you're an epitome of what we should be doing because your time management skills are great. I applaud you for that. Do you have any parting words for us?
No, I don't, but I do want to say how much I appreciate everything you're doing in the running community and out there. And I appreciate everything that I've picked up and seen from you, because it's helped me motivated me along the way. And that's not just with your running, but the way I see you interact with your family and your children and how proud you are. And I appreciate everything you've done for our country.
Oh, thank you.
If I remember correctly, you are a firefighter.
That is correct.
And I 100% appreciate that as well. So you keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. And I'm glad I've gotten to meet you along the way.
Definitely. Hey, John, thank you for doing what you do. And on behalf of veterans everywhere, thank you for your support. I speak for us all when I say we definitely appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show. It was an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you later, my friend.
All right, bye.
It was definitely awesome to have John on the show. Our brotherhood is a product of fierce but healthy competition. We definitely motivated each other over the years, and healthy competition is something that the world needs more of. I want to go back and review John's advice on becoming a better runner.
Don't worry about what people think about you when you're out there running. Don't let anybody bring you down. Find it in you on what motivates you and why you're doing this, and don't lose that motivation. Just keep remembering, this is going to take a long time. It took me 5-6 years to get to where I'm at. And a lot of different things along the way. A lot of, like you said in your first podcast with this, I found the little hidden successes.
Yeah.
And I kept using those, and it's worked for me, and I just keep pushing. So
again, thank you, John the Machine Medvec. We're approaching the finish line, so let's get to some news and views. The Spotify guest playlist has been updated with Lamb of God's Memento Mori on behalf of John, and I'm also going to add another one, and this is going to be It's a Long Way to the Top, If You Want to Rock and Roll by the Rockin' 1000. Of course, it's an AC/DC song, and it's covered by the Dropkick Murphys, and those are both great. However, the Rockin' 1000 just has a little bit more energy, and I'm going to add that one to this list. So John also gave us some discount codes. So if you go to the Ruck N Run website at rucknrun.org and use the code RUNSHOE10, you get 10% off any event registration. And also, from now until June 30th, go to Battle Miles, code MACHINE, and you get 20% off everything. So thank you, John, for those. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or recommendations, you can contact me at runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Again, that is runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Keyword search Runshoe Diaries. Thank you for listening to the Run Shoot Diaries podcast, episode number 2 with John the Machine Medvec. Until next time, remember that with each step comes a decision to take another. So keep putting one foot in front of the other because it's amazing what you can do on your own 2 feet. I'm out.